Good morning and welcome. I'm Sherry Brzezinka, USGBC's Regional Director in the Midwest. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're so happy to have so many of you at our town hall meeting. I, for one, sure am wishing that we were on the 99th floor of Willis Tower enjoying a beautiful view of the Chicago skyline this morning. But even though we had to change our plans, it's still important for us to join together during these challenging and isolating times to talk about what has not changed, which is sustainability and resiliency are still at the core of building healthy, efficient, and equitable buildings and communities. And I know that we'll all come away with some new inspiration and a renewed sense of community. I'd like to thank our sponsor for today's program, ARC, and you'll be hearing a little bit more from Dave Wittig in just a few minutes. But first, I want to share some information about USGBC. USGBC is committed to a sustainable and prosperous future through LEED, the leading program for green buildings and communities worldwide. Our second generation is about four primary pillars: sustainability, health and wellness, resilience, and equity. When we think about USGBC and LEED, we think about all of these topics and how they can be leveraged to raise the living standard for all. And of course, the Living Standard campaign is all about helping people and companies tell their sustainability stories. So you'll notice throughout the year, all of our programs, our events, our articles, and the work that we're doing in the community will be weaving in these pillars and how they help to support LEED v4.1, membership, and LEED performance. I also want to highlight USGBC's top 10 LEED campaign for states. The 2019 top 10 states were announced earlier this year, and of course, Chicago is once again on top with over 49 million square feet certified in 2019. So way to go, Chicago and Illinois, for your leadership with making this happen. As all of you are adjusting to living life online, we at USGBC are also making changes to the way that we connect with our communities and to help fulfill our mission. Although we had to cancel all of our in-person gatherings, we have been able to pivot many of our platforms to a virtual. You can see, you can see here that the Pacific region was able to just squeak in their town halls in person before everything started to shut down. And we're actually the first town hall to go virtual. So thank you so much in supporting this shift. We're also able to hold several virtual events with some of the content created for the regional Rocky Mountain Green Conference, which is coming up on April 30th and May 1st, and the Impact Conference on May 5th. This was our year to launch our first regional conference in the East North Central region, and we're going to be postponing that to 2021. But we're excited that we could launch a series of webinars to help us lead up to that conference and be able to launch the 2021 conference successfully. You can find information on usgbc.org/events, not only for these events, but many events that are going on across the country virtually. So I encourage everyone to really check out that link regularly, because new content and opportunities will be posted that you can join us for. And we're still continuing on with our work, and there's much that you can do to still support USGBC. You can continue your membership and join us as an individual organizational member, sign up for our newsletters, follow us on social media, and look at your local communities where there's opportunities to sponsor and attend events. So we hope to see all of you throughout the year. And now I'd like to turn it over to Brian Imus, the Executive Director for the Illinois Green Alliance, so Brian can share some of the local events that he's working on.
All right, thank you, Sherry. Again, my name's Brian Imus. I'm the Executive Director with the Illinois Green Alliance. Welcome to my dining room. I'm really looking forward to hearing from Mahesh in a little bit on what's new at USGBC and get his perspective on the national green building movement. Before we do, I want to take a few minutes to share with you what's happening here locally. The efforts Illinois Green Alliance is making to broaden the impact of green building here, and what we're doing right now to stay connected and network virtually. As many know, Illinois has led the nation for more than a decade in advancing green buildings. We've been ranked #1 4 out of the last 7 years for the most LEED square footage certified per capita. And we're the only state since USGBC has been ranking LEED certification by state every single year. We're the only ones who have been in the top 5 every single year. That is a testament to the green building professionals here. To build on that success, our current strategic plan is an epic challenge for the green building community. We're leveraging the industry leadership found here, and we're making sure communities are more adept at drawing down carbon in ways that create jobs, make neighborhoods more resilient, and improve the quality of life for everyone. To get us there, we're focused on 3 things right now. First, it's education around the latest trends and technologies. It's advocacy around net zero in a way that grows the market. And it's engaging our members, green building professionals, and community service projects that impact buildings in underserved communities. Since the launch of this new strategic plan, we've been able to hold over 50 educational and community engagement events every single year, with thousands of attendees and dozens of for-profit and nonprofit partners to help make those events successful. Our Chicago Urban League partnership is a great example of the type of community service work that our members are making happen here in Illinois. The work is part of a program, Efficient Chicago, where we connect community nonprofits, affordable housing, and public sector buildings with our members and their expertise in ways that are impacting sustainable operations. This partnership model has helped the Chicago Urban League complete an energy, water, and air quality assessment, identify priority projects for the future, and host a resource fair for the community and staff that are actually using the building. There's been a lot of great partners involved in getting this particular project off the ground. And looking to the future, we're excited to scale this as a model to reach more communities and more buildings that we haven't been able to impact with green building know-how in the past. We're actually holding ourselves accountable to our EPIC Challenge goals with an impact map that lives on our website. I'd encourage everyone to check it out to see what programs, community service, and professional education events we've held and on what topics. It's also a good way to see how you as a professional or your firm may be able to contribute and lend your expertise to all the work that's happening. And there's a lot of programming ahead. The 2020 New Gravity Housing Conference later this year is a good example. The event is in partnership with Green Building United, and it focuses on high-performance, affordable housing, exploring the techniques, tools, and practices used to reduce carbon while increasing resiliency. More immediately, we're developing some great ways for us to all stay connected, share, and learn virtually. Katie Kaluzny, our Associate Director, has developed a webpage dedicated to highlighting our online learning opportunities, along with a catalog of other online resources being provided by our sponsors and other organizations in the industry. It's a great resource, so I'd encourage everyone to check it out on our website at illinoisgreenalliance.org. Our next online program is actually, in fact, on Wednesday, Earth Day. It's a web-based case study and panel discussion of the 50,000 square foot science addition to Stevenson High School. The project earned LEED Platinum certification, is currently pursuing net zero certification through the International Living Futures Institute. So to register for that, again, just go to our website. We'd love to have you join us on Wednesday for that event. I also want to mention the Retrofit Chicago Energy Challenge. It's a voluntary program where building owners make a commitment to reduce their energy use by 20%. This is a City of Chicago program that Illinois Green Alliance administers. So in partnership working with the City of Chicago, we're now providing peer learning opportunities. We're helping to make connections to technical assistance for the buildings participating, and we're ensuring that buildings receive recognition for all of their achievement. It's a great example of our role here in Chicago as a convener, bringing together different industry stakeholders, building owners, engineers, utilities, and others to really make an impact on buildings. Right now, there are exactly 100 buildings participating in the program that represent 59 million square feet. And we're looking to add another 25 buildings over the course of the next year. So if you're interested in learning more, again, reach out. Would love to hear from you. Finally, I want to touch on just a number of the policy and advocacy initiatives we have underway, intended to really scale the impact of green building. All of these initiatives are really about making sure policymakers hear from leaders from within our community. For example, we've had our members providing building tours for state lawmakers to educate them on the value of energy efficiency and clean energy in buildings. Our codes SWAT team has actually helped lawmakers by sharing the practical impact of proposed policy. Our members helped in crafting the City of Chicago's sustainable development policy. And in fact, right now the city is looking at revisions and are already turning to us to help convene different industry perspectives from our members. So hopefully that provides a good sense of what's happening here in Illinois. It's a lot, but I would stress that all of this work is made possible. All the education, the community service, the advocacy, it's all made possible because of our members. It's about growing the sustainability industry in a way that is making a greater social impact. So if you're interested in learning more about how to get involved in all of this work, share what you're doing with us. Again, go to the website, illinoisgreenalliance.org, for information about events. My contact information is also there, and I'd love to hear from you. With that, I'll turn it back to Sherry.
Thanks, Brian. So many great things happening there. Once again, I'd like to thank ARC, our sponsor for the town hall today, and welcome Dave Wittig, ARC's COO, to share some more information with you.
Thanks, Sherry. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with everybody today. Hopefully, everybody didn't stay up too late watching the Michael Jordan documentary that released last night. What I want to do today is share a little bit about what ARC's been up to and how maybe it fits in with your day-to-day efforts. ARC is a technology platform which is focused on the performance of your project. I'm sure everybody's building, when they were doing their retrofit or new build out, had the best designers, the most efficient products. Everything was focused on the best things for the environment. And then when it was actually built, it was followed exactly to spec, and you had the best builders as well. But then the people moved in. And so is your building still running like it was designed? Are you still seeing those efficiencies that you expected to see? ARC is working with 9,500 projects and representing more than 6.2 million occupants and over 3.5 billion square feet of space. We're helping those projects to track, measure, benchmark, and report their data on energy, water, waste, transportation, and human experience, including carbon emissions. By tracking and reacting to your project's performance in ARC, you can make adjustments to energy and water use, which will save you money through reduced operating costs. Shown here is USGBC's annual energy consumption. With ARC, we're tracking it nearly real time now, which allows our facilities team to quickly react to any changes that they see in use patterns. The bottom line on this chart is 2011. That's our baseline year, and that's nearly 1 million kilowatt hours of use. The top line is 2019, and you see there's about 425,000 kilowatt hours of use. So we've been able to shave off nearly 600,000 kilowatt hours for each year, and that represents $80,000 in savings. And that's an every year savings, not just a one-time savings. Now, ARC is set up to meet you where you are. It's important for us to find an entry point for every project to get started. And now we have a suite of products that will allow you to do that. We've recently launched ARC for All. Every project, everywhere, can use ARC at no cost. All a project has to do is enter their data into ARC and you'll see your performance score. It's that easy. So if you have lead and non-lead buildings in your portfolio, you can bring them all into ARC to manage and compare in one place. Your data management and your reporting requirements become centralized and easier to track. Now, we recognize not everyone can achieve LEED certification right away. It's especially difficult for existing buildings. We want to help those projects to get started on their sustainability journey and on an incremental path towards LEED. For this, we've introduced category level performance certificates. If you're interested in your energy rating, just enter your data and we'll recognize you with an energy category certificate and your energy performance score. You can complete each category, energy, water, waste, transportation, and human experience, one at a time. And if you achieve all 5, you'll be ready for LEED certification. A great example of this is in Brazil, where we have more than 350 schools who are using our performance certificates. They're on a path towards net zero energy, but they want to use performance certificates to share with their stakeholders where they are today. And of course, if LEED is your ultimate goal, you can use ARC to achieve LEED certification or recertification using your performance data. To assist with better understanding the importance of performance measurement and ARC in general, we'll be introducing several Performance Pro trainings. There'll be an introductory course and multiple in-depth classes, along with segment-specific trainings coming later. All will be able to be taken on demand and will earn you GBCI credits. We're also starting monthly user session webinars in May to help you with more support. And coming real soon will be a new product which includes a set of tools, features, and reports which will allow advanced users to gain even more insight into your projects. Some added abilities will include modeling changes to your score based on changes in your performance, analysis at a portfolio level instead of just a project level, and detailed reports which can be customized and exported for your use. Now, we believe that performance is the future of green building, and we developed the ARC Performance Platform to help people design, build, and operate buildings and spaces to help people and the environment. We'll be holding webinars on May 6th and May 7th. Please plan to join us at one of those to learn more, but please get started with ARC today. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce the CEO and President of USGBC and GBCI, Mahesh Romano.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope that you and your families are staying healthy and safe. That's the most important thing. And at times like these, I'm tempted to say how precious human life is and how fragile our world can be. But the truth is, we have never seen anything like what we are experiencing today. Our strength and humanity have been tested throughout history, but what is unfolding around us will undoubtedly reveal new vulnerabilities and challenge our adaptability in unthinkable ways. So here at USGBC, and for those of us in the green building community, we spend the better part of our days talking about the need for our society to be more resilient, healthy, and equitable. And now, in the midst of COVID-19, we have the opportunity to help each other by sharing our best practices and our resilient behaviors with communities all over the world. So the global foundation for sustainability we have set in place is indestructible. And even in the midst of an unprecedented public health crisis, I have no doubt that what all of us have built over the last generation of USGBC will endure. Our work and our mission have not stopped. In fact, they are more important now than ever before. We have the opportunity to gather under the common banner of humanity and champion a better quality of life for millions of people around the world. I find comfort in knowing that we will emerge a stronger community in the months and weeks ahead. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this community and that you've all taken the time to join us today to discuss how we can move forward together. So, on behalf of everyone at USGBC, I would also like to take this time to thank our healthcare workers, medical workers, emergency responders, grocery store employees, and all other essential workers who are working day in and day out to protect their communities and us. So, without further ado, I'm excited to share some updates around LEAD and USGBC strategy as we enter our next generation as an organization. When USGBC was founded in 1993, we started with this mission to transform the places where we live, learn, work, and play within a generation. Back then, there was no defined green building community, no way to know if a building was truly green, and no agreed upon guidelines to help those who wanted to build that way. So we created LEAD. And as you know, the rest is history. Now we are in our second generation, one that focuses not just on new construction, but on the continuous improvement and performance for spaces. With this ending comes a new beginning, and we are thrilled to take this future together. At USGBC, we believe the greatest investment we can make is in each other. That's why we are an inclusive and diverse family of green builders from across the globe. We are a community of real estate leaders, developers, contractors, architects, engineers, educators, innovators, and companies working to build healthy, efficient, and equitable communities for all. Especially in times like these, I'm so honored to be a part of this community of leaders. So thank you for everything you have done. Your work has fueled us over this first generation of our organization. And I'm proud what we have been able to accomplish together. And I'm excited and optimistic for what we will build next. Here in Chicago, there are 318 of you, 318 USGBC members. Like USG Corporation, the first USGBC member in the state of Illinois, who is working to effectively balance environmental, economic, and social factors to create long-term value for their employees, customers, and communities. Or for associates, another USGBC member since 1997, who started with the world's first LEED Platinum rehab project and embraced LEED and used it to build out their expertise and reputation. And I hope you know that membership is absolutely vital to our work. Members fund everything that we do. And in fact, they fund everything that I'll be talking about today. So without you, none of this work would be possible. You are investing in the future of green building with us. And together, we are building a sustainable future for all. And the baseline of that work, as you know, is LEED. I wanted to give you all a quick update on how far we have come over our first generation and where we are headed with LEED in the future. 20 plus years ago, when we created LEED, we created a universally agreed upon holistic system for reducing environmental impact and providing a quality indoor environment, always with the goal of reducing carbon emissions and addressing climate change risk. And today, green building has grown into $1 trillion industry, and LEED has become the most widely used green building program in the world. It is a full-scale global movement. Here are just a few milestones we have hit. 102,000 registered and certified LEED commercial projects. 2 million plus registered and certified residential units. Projects in 178 countries and territories. And 205,000 plus LEED APs developing, contributing, and implementing the LEED rating system across the world. Think about those numbers. Each of you has contributed to that legacy. You have helped improve your community through each project, each building, each credential. And you have helped ensure that LEED is not just a de facto leadership standard, but also a living standard with one simple message. Better buildings equal better lives. Because of the work you are doing, people know that if they are in a LEED certified building, they are using less energy, less water, avoiding waste, saving on maintenance costs, improving indoor air quality, offering comfort to their occupants, and creating less environmental burden on their community. And most importantly, they know that they are in a building that enhances health and wellness for its occupants. But while most people are aware of the environmental and monetary benefits of green building, many still have not made the connection between these benefits and their own health and wellness. They don't understand that these buildings have a direct impact on their quality of life. Changing that perception is one of our main focuses in this new generation. After all, green building is all about people. And when we have better buildings, we live better lives. It is as simple as that. Here in Illinois, as Brian pointed out, you are contributing towards the incredible numbers I just mentioned. You have hit 3,574 registered and certified LEED projects, totaling 760 million total square feet of space. And there are 8,633 LEED professionals directing this work across the state. And in January, we announced that Illinois ranked number 2 on our top 10 states for LEED in 2019. Thank you for your contribution to Illinois rank. And Brian touched on this during his presentation. I'm especially excited about the Future Energy Jobs Act, which is now in effect and will create thousands of clean energy jobs, preserve $1.2 billion in economic activity each year, accelerate the growth of wind and solar energy, provide up to $750 million in funding for low-income communities to help them save money and benefit from clean energy, and strengthen Illinois' national clean energy leadership and position the state as a leader in zero carbon electricity. This is phenomenal leadership. If the first generation of LEED was about connecting the dots between awareness and adoption, about educating people on the impact of this work, then the second generation must be about accelerating adoption. And doing so through new metrics, new credits, new incentives, new goals, and new ways of implementing LEED at a time when the world needs it the most. In our latest version, LEED version 4.1, we have not only raised our energy reference standard, but also added a carbon metric to the rating systems for new and existing buildings. This way, we can directly measure the impact buildings are having on the climate, as dictated by efficiency, on-site storage, and generation, and the grid of which it is a part of. We have also made improvements to the renewable energy credit. So buildings are incentivized to invest in the kind of clean energy technology that lowers emission even further. And in LEED version 4.1, we are asking project teams to understand the embodied carbon in their material selection. This way, they can use whole building life cycle assessments and tools like environmental product disclosures to weigh options for building design and material selection with lower carbon impact. The materials credit in LEED version 4.1 has been significantly simplified, and it is evident that more than 7,100 credits have been substituted by 2,295 projects around the world. Let me take a moment to kind of contextualize that for you. Last year is when we realized the maximum number of LEED version 4 certification. Since its launch in November 2016, though we originally planned to launch it in 2012. And the main reason is that people found that material credit to be so difficult. Thanks to LEED version 4.1, all version 4 projects are going for that full substitution, credit substitution feature of material credits. That's why we have 7,100 credits that have been substituted by 2,295 projects around the world. That is very exciting because that was our vision in 2012. So that projects are including sustainable and healthy materials to positively impact the health and wellness of their occupants. Additionally, the construction and demolition waste management rewards teams for reducing the amount of construction they're doing and the amount of demolition materials they're going through. According to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, 10 to 15% of materials are wasted during the construction process. 10 to 15%. So this is a real opportunity to reduce embodied carbon by recycling and sorting these material streams. Adding carbon as a metric to everything we do sets the foundation upon which all new and existing buildings and eventually communities and cities can assess their current carbon footprint and begin mitigation. So as Dave mentioned earlier, we have fully integrated ARC into LEED version 4.1, making LEED the first green building performance standard in the world. Through this integration, we are helping project teams to ensure their design, construction, and operational strategies are driving the expected performance outcomes for the project. So we are going beyond design, we are going beyond construction, we are going beyond operations. Performance is the future of green buildings. And that's what LEED version 4.1 is all about. Across the state, there are a total of 29 projects that have achieved LEED version 4.1 certification. This includes Bill's Tower, which Sherry mentioned. I'm sorry, Sherry, we couldn't be on the 99th floor yet, which in November 2019 became the largest building in the United States beyond LEED Platinum certification when they recertified using version 4.1. Bill's Tower initially certified to LEED Gold in 2019, and in less than a year, made significant energy, sustainability, and comfort improvements to achieve LEED Platinum. Now, this has been long coming. We want all LEED projects to continue to demonstrate leadership long after they are constructed and occupied. Through our new recertification guidance introduced in 2018, any LEED project, old or new, mandatory or voluntary, can recertify using 12 months of performance data. What excites me is 490 projects have already exercised this guidance and have recertified these projects. And I'm encouraged to see many of the projects did not have the mandatory requirement to recertify, have gotten recertified. So that is the elegance of our ARC platform. That is the elegance of our performance vision. And that is the future that we are defining. And we are very excited that this number is going to continue to grow. And particularly in this post-pandemic world, that will become an important place where we will focus, because we need more data, we need better understanding of what's going on behind the scenes in these projects, and importantly, be able to push the envelope further and faster. Now, the next exciting thing that I want to talk about is LEED Zero. If we are going to move the needle to tackle climate change, we only have one choice: to set our sights at zero. We believe net zero is a powerful target that will move the entire industry forward to a regenerative future. This is where our leaders are going, with 17 certifications already achieved. LEED projects are transitioning to net zero milestones. And I'm going to encourage you today to consider this for your project, or at least get started. At least start evaluating where you are with related to this LEED Zero requirement. That'll be a good thing to accomplish for the future, because it shouldn't be that difficult to zero things out. That should be very easy. Yes, zero carbon emissions, but also net zero energy use, water use, and waste. You'll be surprised to know that the first LEED Zero energy project did not come from the United States, did not come from China, did not come from Europe. It came from Brazil. And the second LEED Zero project did not come from California, did not come from New York, did not even come from Chicago, but it came from Little Rock, Arkansas. So there is a new trend that's developing. So I hope you will get excited by looking at this guidance and applying this to your projects. Now, the third LEED Zero energy project is my favorite project. That is the Discovery Elementary School in Arlington, Virginia, very close to our headquarters. And I will let you read this slide for a moment. $117,000 in annual savings to fund 2 teachers' salaries. If a school can deliver this vision with LEED Zero, then there should be no excuse for any other project in the world not to pursue the LEED Zero goals. That is the most exciting thing. In addition to these savings and delivering a net positive energy balance, the school serves as the learning laboratory for students to get an early start on sustainability. We are preparing our future leaders, future green building leaders, right from the start. That is exciting. And on top of it, we have delivered 17 LEED Zero certifications, including the Colgate-Palmolive Burlington site that has achieved all 4 certifications: LEED Zero Energy, LEED Zero Water, LEED Zero Waste, and LEED Zero Carbon. So we have clearly proven that this solution works for LEED projects, and it helps them to scale. And most importantly, it is part of their continuous improvement efforts. So I'm happy to see hundreds of LEED projects actively considering LEED Zero certification. And I think this is going to become a quicker, faster trend in the years to come. And when we are talking about Chicago, when we are talking about state of Illinois, I have to talk about People Against Dirty, commonly known to all of us as method cleaning, who achieved the first LEED Zero for waste certification for their Chicago factory. And that's exciting because they have been a long-term USGBC member. They have done so many LEED projects, and them being able to push their boundaries to get to LEED Zero on waste is phenomenal. So I'm excited for that project as well. And LEED for cities and communities. While LEED Zero is made for individual buildings, we want to accelerate change on every possible scale. And that means not only addressing isolated projects, but the cities and communities they form. We need to see the forest through the trees. That's why we created LEED for cities and communities. It's change on a grander scale. These programs are helping cities develop responsible, sustainable, and specific plans for green energy, water, waste, transportation, and many other factors that contribute to human experience. They encompass sustainability and much more: quality of life, health, prosperity, equity, education, resilience, infrastructure, and energy. They are designed to support continuous progress toward developing better communities and cities, because better communities equal better lives. I'm excited that more than 100 cities and communities around the world are registering and certifying with us by taking advantage of both LEED for communities and LEED for cities. In total, these places cover more than 53 million people, and that is exciting. And Chicago continues its strong leadership. As you probably know, at Greenbuild 2018 in Chicago, we announced that Chicago achieved LEED for City certification at the platinum level. This was the result of a grant from Bank of America, which provided $500,000 in grants to 7 cities seeking certification in 2018, and an additional $500,000 to 15 other cities and communities around the US last year. And as Dave mentioned, our powers LEED. But we also know that there are many existing buildings that may not be ready for LEED. And to help them get started, we have introduced performance certificates that allows every project to get started and make incremental progress towards energy, water, waste, transportation, and human experience. And these projects can eventually get to LEED certification if they choose to. We now have more than 9,500 projects in ARC, and close to 400 projects have obtained their energy performance certificates in less than 6 months, allowing us to jumpstart the much needed progress on our existing buildings. So please explore arcscoru.com, reach out to us, and our teams are on standby to continue to help your projects to get on the scale so that we can measure and perform to the sustainability goals and standards that we set for ourselves. As I mentioned earlier, one of the key issues we have noticed over the years is that while people associate green building with energy efficiency, resource conservation, and often cost savings, they don't associate green buildings with contributing to their quality of life. We know that in order to realize a sustainable future for all and really make green building a mainstream concept, we need to solve this paradigm. This is why we launched the Living Standard campaign with the goal to expand the way we talk about sustainability by focusing on what matters most within our buildings: human beings, and to ensure that LEED remains not only the de facto leadership standard for green buildings, but also a living standard. Through the power of storytelling, we hope to broaden our engagement and increase the demand for green buildings. Because we know this, demand changes everything. So please visit livingstandard.org and start sharing your stories, because I truly believe your story will inspire someone else in the world. And most importantly, will allow them to take action. And that is what we need at this very moment. Now, in addition to the stories pouring in from across the world, we have also released 2 research reports and a special edition of USGBC Plus dedicated to living standard. So I encourage you to review them, as it will provide you a different perspective on how to advance our collective mission. And the good news is you can read it very fast because the font is in bigger size and will be an enjoyable read. All of these efforts, from ARC to Lead Zero to Living Standard, are part of our vision to ensure that the next phase of USGBC's efforts will be lead positive, where buildings are actually generating more energy than they use and removing more carbon than they produce. And the way to get there cannot always be direct. It'll require incremental steps, from a project tracked in ARC to a certified building to LEED, to a LEED Zero building, and beyond. The aspirational goal that I've set for USGBC is that we will require all LEED new construction projects to achieve LEED positive starting in 2025. So we're giving 5 years for new construction projects to get there. And all existing buildings to be LEED positive by 2050. We are giving those projects 30 years to get there. So to repeat, we are going to require all LEED new construction projects to achieve LEED positive starting in 2025, and all existing buildings to be LEED positive by 2050. In the years ahead, LEED buildings must not just do less harm than traditional construction. Instead, they should be carbon positive and truly regenerative. They should generate more energy than they consume, save more water than they use, remove more carbon than they produce, and have a positive impact on the physical, mental, and social health of its occupants. In short, LEED buildings need to give back to the communities more than they take from them. This is our calling. We need to reimagine how to grow and scale our projects so that in meeting this new demand, we create better, more inclusive spaces. And that will be achieved by all of us together, because true leadership is not possible without partnership. We have been looking at LEED through one lens for more than 25 years: sustainability. And that it is a worthy, incredibly important, and meaningful goal. But in the second generation, we need to accept that our work goes far beyond sustainability. That's why in our second generation, we are looking beyond buildings to the full spectrum of reasons why we do this work. When we think about LEED, we think about sustainability, health and wellness, resilience, and equity. We think about raising the living standard for all, no matter what their circumstances entail. And we are already making that happen. LEED is at the heart of everything that we do. But we want you to always have the option to go further, get faster, dive deeper into the areas you care about. GBCA supports a variety of rating systems to address various sustainability goals: zero waste, zero energy, energy use case analysis, sustainable sites, smart grid management, ESG, a variety of systems to address a variety of goals. The good news is all of these systems are already integrated into the LEED for communities and cities. So we will dive deeper into these systems in our upcoming events. And in the meantime, if you have any questions specific to any of these programs, feel free to reach out to Sherry and team or to one of our USGBC members. We will be more than happy to walk you through the details. But we are excited that we are continuing to build our toolkit so that we can actually comprehensively address the sustainability needs of the larger community. And let's not forget that none of this would be possible without education and our credentialed stakeholders. Credentials provide a means of becoming not just a participant in this field, but a leader. I know that many of you in the room today have at least one of these credentials after your title. I thank you for helping uplift and guide others in the green space. You, the 205,000 LEED professionals in the world, are how we move LEED forward. You are our first line of defense in this mission, And you are how we create capacity for this month. So please continue to help us broaden this community, as that will help us accelerate mission. That's another way to get there faster and quicker. And I especially want to call out the leadership of our lead fellows in Illinois. The lead fellow is the most prestigious distinction awarded by GBCI and recognizes outstanding lead APs who have demonstrated exceptional impact with lead. I would like to thank Louis Witzel of Witt & Company, Susan Henking of Pepper Construction Group, Helen J. Kessler of H.J. Kessler Associates, Rand Ekman of HKS Inc., John Albrecht of Chicago Green LLC, and Jenny Carney of WSP for their tremendous leadership. As we begin to wrap up for today, I want to return back to the 4 pillars we discussed earlier: sustainability, health and wellness, resilience, and equity. In our second generation, these pillars will be at the heart of all of our programs. Particularly while in the midst of the COVID crisis, I want to leave you thinking about one pillar in particular: equity. In times like these, I am reminded that close to 50% of the world's population still lives below the poverty line. Last 3 weeks broke my heart. The amount of impact that we have created on the society. We have taken $6 trillion stimulus package to put just in the United States. That's mind-boggling and clearly proves that it is no secret that the most vulnerable among us will be hit the hardest during extreme events. So we feel a sense of duty to ensure a sustainable, resilient, and equitable future for all can be delivered. Now, in LEAD, we have introduced some few social equity credits. And to be very honest, the response had been underwhelming. Because equity looks very different in action to an individual, an organization, a building, a community, or for that matter, a city. And it makes sense. So because of that, we are working on establishing USGBC equity to build a framework that recognizes leadership at all of these levels: individuals, organizations, buildings, businesses, communities, and cities. And we are hoping to learn, listen, and actually develop a comprehensive framework so that we can actually do our part in being able to address the equity issues within our sphere of influence to start with. So with that, thank you for showing up today in this call, this meeting, this virtual event, as showing up matters. You're not here as a representative not only for yourself, your family, your organization, but of the people who don't have a voice that your work still touches. As I always say, what gets measured gets done. What gets done gets improved. And what gets improved gets replicated. So through USGBC Equity, we hope to elevate the conversation around equity so we can build not only a sustainable world, but also an equitable world. Thank you all so much, and please be safe and healthy.